Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 49 of the Over the Head podcast. This week, we're heading into a bye week. The playoff table is set. The Chaos, the Atlas are out. We have the Redwoods versus the Outlaws, the Boston Cannons versus the Whipsnakes. So an exciting, not this week, but following week when you guys hear this. We'll see what happens here. We'll talk end of the year awards, Rats picks, my picks, and yeah, Scott.
This is the rare week where we probably just need to record the intro after the episode because who knows what we're gonna talk about. we are in the look. Maybe this is actually the obvious lead in. We're in the week in between the regular season and the playoffs, and let's start there. What is your point of view on the bye after the regular season? To me, this is I can't think of what the scheduling reason for this is. It feels like there has to be one, but I do not like this aspect of the PLL schedule where it's like every team gets a bye going into the playoffs. I don't know. It feels like you lose momentum a little bit. You know, in other sports, a lot of times like the high seeds get a bye, but now like we touched on this a little bit last week. But if you're the Waterdogs or the Archers, like you're talking about, did the Archers didn't play last weekend, so the Archers are going to go a full month basically without playing a game and then having to step on the field. Is there any justification for this? Have you ever heard any reasoning as why they put this bye week in here?
No, I've never really heard it. I don't know if it's like a TV window thing, but my take on it is if you're the Outlaws or you are the Archers, you love this because maybe Tom Schreiber plays. Are they going to insert him into the lineup? Who knows? I know he's at practice last game, but the Outlaws, they're injured all over the field. Their entire defense was out this past week. Bernhardt was out. Kavanaugh was out. So, like, I think, you know, if you have a shit ton of injuries like the Outlaws have, I think you love this format. But for everyone else, like, you're just not playing, you know, you're not playing for essentially, you know, Archers are a month, and then, you know, these other teams are not going to step on the field until
like at least the Waterdogs played 2 games this weekend. Like they have a week off, but it's like it's more in rhythm. So it's hard to say how it like really impacts it, but it's I mean, even for us, like I had forgotten about it, and we started writing up the show for this week, and it's like quarterfinal preview, and then it's like hold your horses, bye week, quarterfinal preview show next week. So this week is just like a hang tight. So I think what we can try to talk about today, or we see where the conversation leads us, but we talk about end of year awards.
For us, we hate it because we can't
hate
really, we don't talk about.
Do you want to talk about where? So I'm now relocated again. I'm currently in Washington, undisclosed location. Washington.
Better location than all locations yet.
Looking at right now, right this way. I've got, you might see, like if you're on YouTube, some nice natural lighting in my face. I've got ocean, mountains, beautiful seals. We were just talking about. So you said you have a family of deer that live in your backyard. You live in an undisclosed location, Park City. Yep. And do you ever just get the urge to shoot them when you see them, or that's not how that works?
No, I don't get the urge. Never have the urge to shoot these. These are like, you know, there's a woman down the street. I was walking. Me and my wife bought this house in like August. We're like walking down the street. There's a woman on her back deck. The moose's head's over the deck. She's feeding the moose with her hand. So these animals would be extremely easy to kill because they'd walk right up to you. Like deer in the wild, very sketchy. They see you, they dart. They smell you, they dart. But these, they come literally. I was grilling the other night, and the deer were within 10 yards of me. So like, no, I would have no interest in shooting.
That's how it is here as well. Like every single time I walk the dog, I see them. Same thing. They're like completely, and like there's a lot of deer in Atlanta, but there's not so many that are. I don't know, this like accustomed to human. I'm on like a little island, and it just seems like they've totally integrated into the culture. It's really cool. I love it. I can see a seal right now swimming around. The dogs of the sea, I think. Seals, they're just playful little guys.
Like killer whales out there?
Here's a question for you. There are whales out here. This is what's crazy to me. And I will tell you, I love the ocean. I love the sea. But I love to look at the sea. I'm a romantic with the sea. I like to sit here, look at it from a safe distance. I don't have a whole lot of need to go be in it because I got stung by a man-o-war when I was like in high school. Ooh. And then it was bad. We like real bad, a bad reaction to it. Is a little scary. And then when I was in Hawaii, we were out playing. I think I wear a Wimmer shirt every single one of these episodes, but we were out playing in the Hawaii lacrosse tournament. We might have been, I don't know if you were there this year, if you came with us, but we went and did one.
Not.
Oh, you know what? This was actually, I was with my wife and we went snorkeling. And like, we're having a decent time. I was a little freaked out because I just am a little freaked out sometimes in the ocean. And I come up from snorkeling and just like on my goggle, there's just a jellyfish and like one of its tentacles just boom, bzz, right in the face. And like, I remember telling her, I was like, and I do swim in the ocean. Like I literally swam today, but like, it's just one of those things where, you know, what is like the old saying of like the drowning man calling God for help, and a boat comes and he says God will save me, and like then a whale comes and he says God will save me, and then he drowns and he says like, God, why didn't you save me? And he's like, I sent you a boat. Like that's how I feel about if two jellyfish have now both like targeted me, I just feel like the sea is telling me like we don't need you here. So long-winded way of asking you, I'm on the Puget Sound. Right, so it's the ocean, and there's whales and octopus and seals and sharks. I don't think there's big sharks back here because it's too shallow, but there's seals, so there's probably sharks. And there's people out there water skiing, like on a daily basis, just people water skiing around the thing. I just don't know if I'm like about that life. Like my wife wants to do it, like water ski when there's like a whale under you. Does that feel like something that checks out in your mind?
I mean, the ocean's a very humbling place. I mean, we are definitely as human beings not in our element in the water. Can tell you that. But when I lived in LA, I'd surf with Jimmy Burrell all the time. But I was always, anytime I stepped in the ocean and went out pretty far, I'm always thinking about sharks and sharks grabbing me like nonstop. So I'm not a big. It's a very humbling place, so I'm all set.
I agree. I don't need to water ski out there. I'll water ski in a lake where it's like your biggest threat is like a catfish. You know, that's like a very Georgia boy thing to say, but that's the way I feel. Like out here, I'm good to just look. So yeah, on the road in Washington, home of Drew Snyder, a really solid lacrosse community out here now. Eli Gobrecht is out here coaching lacrosse.
O'Dodery.
Yeah, OD. So excited to also tap into local lacrosse scene a little bit while I'm here for a couple months. So anyway, back to PLL. There wasn't a lot from the games this weekend. You touched on the standings, but the Waterdogs went 2-0. They looked really good. Again, they were playing two meaningless. Well, the first game wasn't meaningless to them; it was meaningless to the Atlas. Was there anything? And then you mentioned the Outlaws, the Redwoods. Your Redwoods cooked the Outlaws, but it was not the Outlaws. It was kind of the practice squad to a certain extent. Was there anything you took away from the games in Philly this weekend before we get into some other topics?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest takeaway was obviously. The Waterdogs look like the team to beat. I mean, they're at the top of the standings. Their offense is playing at a very, very, very high level. They got Dox Aitken back. I think that's an interesting topic just because, Jack Hanna goes down with a foot injury, and then here comes Dox Aitken. He's just coming from football. He's trying out for the CFL, or I don't know where he's coming from, and I don't know how teams can, like the Waterdogs, can just pick him up because his first dodge out of the box, like obviously he hasn't played lacrosse in, 2 years, whatever it is, but he's in great shape. He's been working out. He's, playing football at a high level. He came out of the box first run and ran right by his guy. They had to slide, and then he had a shot his foot was just inside the 2-point arc, stung it. He might have a better shooting percentage than Jack Hanna already in his first game, but it's like, how the hell did they get him? So that's going to be if he gets going when they need him the most in 2-3 weeks, because now that he knows he's playing lacrosse, he's probably going to be, out in the field shooting, doing all the things. So he's going to be an interesting piece for them when they do add him. Because they got Yago coming out of the box, got him coming out of the box. Like they got a lot of speed coming out of from up top. So that'd be my takeaway from the weekend. Is just the Waterdogs, how well they're playing. They've been playing, I feel like this for freaking 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So
yeah. They agreed. They do clearly. I mean, they end the season with the best record by far. I think it's a advantage to them to just have 2 games where you're in flow. I could say the same about the Redwoods. Like, even though you played, a not complete Outlaws team, to at least after the couple weeks that the Redwoods had to at least like score a bunch of goals and get kind of like, the house back in order a little bit going into the playoffs. Like there's probably some positives for them there. On Dox Aitken, so his timeline is he was in 2024 he was second team All Pro, right? He had one kind of really good breakout season with the Atlas in 2024. Then he left the league to pursue a career in football, right? So he's one of these guys who we played at
CFL.
UVA.
Is he playing CFL?
No, so this is what I'm going to get into because it's a little wild. So he's playing. So he played at Villanova, right, for his 5th year, and then he came into pro lacrosse, and then in 2025, so he left the PLL after being a second team All Pro, and he joined a team called the Ohio Valley Ironmen of the International Football Alliance. Like, there's a lot of football leagues, Hartsey. I never heard of this one. Like, I used to train in a gym with like a lot of NFL guys or guys getting into the NFL. So there were players in the XFL came back for a second. The USFL, I think is what it's called, or something like that. The UFL that's playing in the spring that's got like truly tier 2, like it's the minor leagues. Nobody's ever heard of the International Football Alliance. So you got to question Doc's decision making here a little bit. Like, what are you chasing from that league? Now get this. This is where the story gets crazier. The Iron Men played 3 games against who knows who, right? They won 45-0, 39-0, and 82-0. Then a bunch of their upcoming opponents canceled their games, and the season ended. They just canceled the season.
Oh, Jesus.
after 3 games. Then, so that was when he came back to the Atlas late in 2025, and then his contract expired, and he didn't re-sign. And I guess he was pursuing football again, and maybe he didn't get picked up or something. Then it says in 2026, the Ironmen joined the Continental Football League, and then they folded again. Never heard of the Continental Football League, and then he was a free agent, and he was just picked up out of the player pool by the Waterdogs. This would be like me in like my 3rd season when I had kind of my breakout pro lacrosse season, leaving to play like my men's league tennis that I'm currently playing right now. Like, it's like, I get it if you're like Pat Spencer made it to the NBA. Bernhardt obviously was on the Falcons for a minute, but like going to play and like this is like going to play in your local rec flag football league and then being like, okay, I'll come back to the PL. Like, I don't understand what he's doing with this. Like,
yeah, I did some quick Googling, and it said standard players earn $400 per game, while active quarterbacks make $1,500 per game during training camp.
I mean, that's less. So you're less than the PL.
During training camp, players receive $100 per week. And then I Googled how many players make it to the NFL. It was a segue, and there's been 0 players from this league that made it to the NFL. So
same amount of guys that have made it from my ultimate tennis league to the US Open.
That's interesting.
Dude, it is a weird.
The first, when you were just talking about that and you mentioned the league, I'm like, oh, the pay's got to be good. And then I typed in International Football Alliance.
No, because it's not. Because again, there are some solid. Like if he was in the, I need to research on this. But if he was in the, I think is it the UFL? There's one with like the teams in Birmingham, like a lot of secondary markets that play in the spring right now. If he were playing in that, which I think is what he originally left to try out for, it would be easier to like be like, okay, look, if you cook in that league, you get picked up by an NFL team. Like, you're one step away. But like, this seems like it seems like he's no steps away. Like,
yeah.
And so then it's just kind of like, I guess, I mean, look, hey,
maybe he just loves playing football.
Yeah, for the love of the game, he obviously does. So like, no shade there, but it is a strange journey.
Yeah, and it's wild how like I don't know the story. Maybe we'll get more on that, but like, his contract ends, and then like were the Waterdogs the first on waiver wires? Like, were they the first available?
No, I mean, dude, he must have been a free agent all year. It's just that
no one picked him up because of football. But that's what I'm saying. They're like,
but I bet he just told them I'm down to play. I bet other teams called. I mean, we don't know what we don't know, right? But it wouldn't surprise me if other teams called or something, and he was like, "Oh, I'm still pursuing football," and then he became available. And yeah, maybe at that point, the Waterdogs were the first, or they had the. Who knows? Like, who knows? But it was. I mean, it could have been a nice pickup. I'm skeptical. I didn't watch the games to be fair. I watched a little bit of the Waterdogs Atlas this weekend. because that one kind of mattered. If the Waterdogs lost, it could have gotten interesting with the Cannons in the 1 seed or whatever. Yeah. So I didn't ever see him, or I have no idea how he looks, but like
he came out of the box. He's athletic as shit. He's gonna, you're gonna have to slide to him every time he dodges. There's no short stick D midi that's D'ing his ass up.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and hit the one shot that he took was inside the arc. His foot was inside the arc. And he fucking slapped the corner. Like, I was like, okay, well.
What a freak. Why is he like, if because he is a freak athlete. I mean, again, he was a second team All-Pro, right? So, I mean, that's, if you get the best of him, that's what you got. Like, you've got an All-Pro midi, which is.
And guess what? All he has to do, you only got to tell him to do is dodge out of the box. You got CJ Kirst, you got Michael Sowers, you got Josh Yago. Just throw the ball forward and let them figure it out.
Yeah, they're good. The Waterdogs are good, no doubt. No doubt. All right, so the other thing. Maybe we can like end. I'm going to say end because it's going to be a long conversation. But the other thing I thought before we go into like talking about end of season awards and who we like and stuff is maybe just talking about the teams that didn't make the playoffs a little bit. And we did some of this last week, but there was a really funny tweet exchange where Quint in his article I think said like, we can pull it up, but like said. Rowlett, Newman, and Blaze aren't spring chickens anymore.
And did he mistyped or he was drinking or something?
Yeah, he had like an error, and so then like Blaze quote tweeted it and like correct the grammar, which is such a like Blaze is just. I mean, he's just
protecting his
in
guys
all aspects. Like it was such a good way of like. Taking something personally online and clapping back, but not doing it in like a super douchey or insecure like way. It's just like, you're going to criticize what I do for a living. Here's a little note, Quint, for what you do for a living. Like, instead of like defending himself, just like criticizing the grammar was really funny. And it's like a fair clapback because like, look, it's a fair point of view from Quint. Like, I understand what he's trying to say, but none of those three, I mean, Rowlett's obviously got the injury issues. But, like, those three don't really look like they're declining. Like, the Chaos haven't had fucking talent, like,
dude, Rowlett could
talented
play
roster.
Rowlett could play long stick midi if he wanted to.
Yeah. He's got the concussion stuff is a little concerning, right? Like,
100%.
But all three of them are going to be back next year, probably playing at a high level. So, like, I don't know if that's the thing I would have called out, but I get Quint's point where it's like, what is the Chaos identity? Like, it's been those three largely, and Troy Ray have kind of been the identity of that team. And it's not that the sun is set, but it's just like, where do they go next? But from my point of view, like the whole thing with them is and has been and will continue to be just like putting enough talent around those guys. Like, they have some nice stories on offense. But, Owen Hiltz was not the same player this year as he was his rookie year. I know he was a little bit beat up. They haven't really gotten fourth overall pick production at a Knobloch or even close. Like, Ross Scott's a decent little player, but, Iker kind of took a half step back, and the military guys, you don't know how much longer he has even. So they're in a, like, to me, of those two teams, like, they're a bigger question mark, and it sucks because you have an all-time great in Blaze who had the fun years with the Canadian offense. They won a championship. Can't take that away. But, like, he probably does only have, goalies can play for a while at a high level. So let's get 5-6 prime years or really good years of Blaze left. Somebody like Spencer Ford or, and Brooks, like, somebody's got to figure out how to get a freaking team around this guy. Because the fact that he's competitive with this team every year is insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, their defense, they're not in the bottom. They're third from the bottom, and then their offense is last in the league. So, like, that defense, if you can get the offense to the top 5 in the league, like, they're probably in the playoffs and they're contending because you put when Blaze gets in the playoffs, we know what he can do. Like, he fucking just completely shuts teams out, and the offense only needs to score 12 goals sometimes. So, like, I think that defense needs to stick together. A lot of them are free agents, so we'll see if they explore free agency. I think some teams will go after some of these guys. But yeah, I don't know. They seem pretty ingrained, Chaos guys for life, but we'll see what happens. But they're next year they have to get offense. Like, they need offensive guys, to your point, like the military guys, what's going on there. And, the draft now with the fifth year guys, like, a lot of those guys aren't going to be available. So, we'll see what they get. But if I'm them, I'm definitely going all heavy offense for sure.
And just like, I'm going to say the same thing I said about the Cannons last year. That's just like, to me, if I'm Spencer Ford, I'm shaking that place up as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Like, the only non-touchable piece of that roster to me is Blaze. I mean, I do think you leave why get, like, Newman and Rowlett would be the next two, and Ray, like, because they have been so good together. But if you needed to use one of them as a trade piece to go, whatever it is, get multiple young guys or multiple picks or something, like,
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, 'cause I feel like I say this all the time in this league, but, like, you've got to go young. You've got, like, you can make a turnaround in one season by and look at the Cannons this year, like, such a good example. Like, the roster outside of Marcus, Keelty is unrecognizable to what it's been the last couple years, right? And it's just like, if it's not working, I feel like every player is talented, and it's really hard to be a coach or a GM in this league with what guys sacrifice to do it and be a part of it. But I do think the mistake a lot of people make is, like, they hang on too long and they keep trying to make something work instead of just say, you know what, it's done. Like,
Stagnita, as much as we talk about the huddle.
Yeah,
stuff,
he's probably been the best at that. I mean,
yeah.
look at what the Cannons do with Nolting, right? But maybe even a year too late with him, and you find this kid Brian Kelly, like, and all of a sudden he's in a USA jersey this week, and he's cooking probably a Defensive Player of the Year finalist in Ajax.
Speaking of which, what the hell is that thing? the Pan America games. I'm just like,
the Pan American
all
games
over
are going
Twitter.
on.
I'm like, what is going on now? I saw a highlight of Team Canada. It was today. Dude, there were some kids out there. I guess, a lot of their guys aren't playing, but dude, there were some
they brought, like, all
ballers.
college kids.
I mean, dude, there were some Canadian kids that looked like, they were athletic as shit. I mean, making some amazing plays, but that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. So I think that it's sixes. It's right. It's a sixes tournament going on right now.
Yep.
I think it's Olympic qualifying, so you have to play in these things to qualify for the 28 Olympics, which is cool. It's fun. I haven't seen any of it, but it'd be fun to watch the USA Canada game. I assume it's on some obscure streaming site or something like that.
Probably. Yeah, for sure.
So, look, I would say, unfortunately, for our friends in the Carolina Chaos, like, they're my bottom of the power rankings chart going into next season. Like, they, to me, have the most to address here of all the teams.
You would take Atlas play. What if the Atlas played the Chaos next week? You take the Atlas
no. But so that's my point. So the Chaos right now today are better than the Atlas for sure. But the Atlas, to me, I don't see Schellenberger. Like, he comes back strong. Teak comes back healthy. Baptiste comes back healthy. The Atlas have less holes to fill, to me, to get back to where they were. Like, we saw the Archers do this, win a championship, then have a down year where they missed the playoffs. We saw the Waterdogs do it. They end up with the first pick. So, like, weirdly, we've seen these, like, championship hangovers before, and then these teams bounce right back because those same talented players that win the championship are on the roster. So, to me, theirs is – I don't think you can blame the season just on the injuries. Let me be very clear. Like, the whole season, top to bottom, was shit from the Atlas. Like, bad job coaching, bad job leaders, bad job players. Like, it was a disgrace. Like, they had no fight, no heart, no nothing. So let me stamp that F grade for the season. But you still have Schellenberger, you still have T. I still think Baptiste has good lacrosse. I still think Entenmann probably can bounce back and have a good season. And, like, if I look at the holes on that team, you still have Hugh Kelleher, a nice young piece, trainer, maybe back at the midfield. They get a little more out of him next year, kind of. So the gaps on that team, to me, was just solidifying the close defense, really.
Yeah.
And to me, that's easier than basically building an entire offense, which is what I see Carolina needing to do. So I just think they're in better shape going into next year, assuming they can, like, get their culture. They just had a weird year, bro. They didn't have Pressler had health issues at the beginning of the season. They didn't have a coach at training. They had one coach at training camp, and Kyle Sweeney. Their assistant coach then gets their assistant coach and their best attackman run a coup and can take over the UVA men's lacrosse program, like, right before. It just nothing about the je ne sais quoi of that team was working this year. So I think they'll probably be fine and probably be competitive again next year. But the culture there seemed like it was a mess this season.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing they need to address is the defense. I think Rex Road, to me, I think he's gone. The first overall pick would have probably been Sean Light for them for defense, but now that he's probably going to take his fifth year, it looks like it's going to be Bobby Van Buren, Ohio State defenseman. He'll probably go to the Atlas, and then Yeah, it's the draft got flipped on its head because all these fifth-year guys are going to go back and play. So it's going to be interesting to see who picks up who in the draft. But Alice with the number one overall pick, they got to take defense, in my opinion, because you got Teat coming back, Schellenberger, Dixon, and to your point, you made like their midfield is pretty good.
Brian Cosville had like a career year this year.
Yeah, and then we'd be taught like if they're in the playoffs, right? I think Makar probably gets Defensive Player of the Year, but I don't know if that's going to happen. He still leads the top of the standings and all the categories, but it's like, are you going to give it to him? Probably not. So
he's not going to get it, Kyle.
No, I know
he can't. No. I think I said this in the group text, but like you or I would have won Defensive Player of the Year all the time if the award was about ground ball stats, cause turnover stats, and goals. I mean, that's what everybody talks about with him, and like all three are true, and he's awesome, but like that's not the like. You can't be. You're not the Defensive Player of the Year if your team defense is the worst.
Well, that was my point. I'm saying.
I know. Yeah. But I just want to reiterate that for the people at home. There were many years that I played that I wholeheartedly believed I should be getting the awards because I was the best in all the stats. But like the reality is, like it's not how it works. Like you got like on ball defense, like good cover defense, good communication, leading team defense. Like there's not stats for that, and it is more valuable. So. Look,
it's tough when you're on the Ohio machine and you're 1-13. You can't win.
Yeah, you had 20-something goals. Like they would have given you the all-time greatest defensive player award if that's how you calculated that fucking stat. Like it's just not how it works. Like, so I look because I'm saying this, he'll probably win it. I just want to say with my chest he shouldn't. And I love the kid. I think he's awesome. He's a stud. Like, yeah, we obviously had him on the show. It's not hating on him. It's just like you can't win an award
he's
for
a
the
top
player of the year. Yeah, like look at last year, bro. Like Adler won last year, and Adler, they were the best team. He was the best defenseman on the best team, and like I don't even know if he was the best defenseman on that team, frankly. But no. So I just think generally the awards go to, and we can get in. We'll go one by one through them, but like I think the Archers are going to sweep the defensive awards, and I think they should. They had an all-time great defense this season. Like I think you got to give those guys credit for what they did. I think that's the right way to do it. So, anyway, get off my high horse with that. But I just think stats, especially on defense, like it's just not a position that can really completely be measured by statistics. Like it's not, you have 2 cause turnovers, but you give up 3 goals. Like is that a good game? Like, it's just, okay. Sure. So do you want to go through, you want to go through the end of season awards and make some picks and go with what we think and see how wrong we are when it all comes out, because I'm sure we won't get any of them. I do want to I was trying to do some research for this, Kyle. I want to give Joe Keegan, our head of everything, a little bit of shit. I asked him, like, who do you think's in the running for the D player of the year or the D midi of the year? And he sent me like 7 names. Oh my God. And I was like, is this every starting D midi in the PLL? Like, I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like,
there is I think before you talk, but short stick D midi, I think stats that do count. They got like they have like good cause turnovers and a shit ton of GBs, and then obviously points.
Agreed. Thing. And I think same thing with LSM. Like to me, those stats are a better measure of that position because you're running face-off wings, you're in the middle of the field. Sparking transitions like a bigger part of that job. So I think I think cause turnovers, points, ground balls are probably more important now. I think ground balls and cause turnovers are important close to these stats, but they're not as important as keeping goals off the board and
face off's easy. The face off one's fucking easy because there's one stat.
It is easy. So do we have them here? I thought we had them listed here in our.
We do.
Okay, so let's start. Let's go from the bottom up, Hartsy, from this. I don't know if you have it up, but from this list, I can kind of call them out. But that way we end with kind of the big ones. So here's a good one for us. I'm sure we'll both be really, really well researched and studied on this. The comeback player of the year.
Oh, my God. I actually think, I don't know where he's not in the top 6 of attackmen, but the guy who just shattered his leg. I don't know what this award is based on, but just taking the first word comeback player of the year from a freaking, snapped his leg completely in half. Xander Dixon for me would be it's shocking he was even on the field. Like that was like I don't know if you remember. We can probably clip this up. Of probably be a disgusting highlight. But Willis McGahee.
Don't clip that up. Nobody.
University of Miami when he's like his leg was just 90 degrees.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that
Shelley's
was like
injury was ugly. Shelley.
Yeah,
Xander's.
Xander's.
Yeah.
So for me, from like actual. I don't know what the hell that award's based on, but like for that, from an injury standpoint, man, he's my comeback player of the year, Xander Dixon.
All right, love it. I love that you just had one ready to go right away. Yeah. I'm gonna go with I want to say Dox Aitken.
But what is a comeback player of the year based on? Like you have a shit year and then you like.
No, I think you need to be returning from injury because so again, Dox Aitken comes back, shoots 1 for 1 to draw some slides. Like he survived, whatever the version of like the minor leagues of the minor leagues of the minor leagues football is, and came back and looks ready to go. But you can't give it to him. The other one that came to mind for me, but I don't think qualifies, because I literally can't think of another guy who's like Xander, who was like injured last year. Even though Xander wasn't injured last year, he got injured in the last game, but who came back. But the name, there's 2 names that come to mind. One is Sisselberger.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Like, would he qualify? Because he played last year, but he wasn't 100%. Good. And then he got benched, and I think he was hurt, and he wasn't playing.
And he was
this
shit.
year he came back.
He was shit.
And he came back this year, and he was, I think second in the league. He's probably
second
not going to win the face-off award, but he's been really, really good. So Sisselberger, and then the guy who to me is the odds-on favorite, it's Kyle Hartzell.
Yeah. Let me win an award this year.
How do you not give it to Kyle Hartzell? This psycho retired 2 years ago. He's 40 years old.
You're
and
right.
He comes back and he plays multiple games. He holds Owen Hiltz to minimal points. So I think you got to be. They haven't announced finalists for any of these yet, right?
That'd be hilarious.
If you're not a finalist for this, I don't know what. Then we have issues.
Well, we have a PLL podcast, so hopefully they hear this and they watch it.
Yeah, we'll get this out there. So Hartsey for comeback player of the year. He overcame doing nothing for 2 years, drinking wine and hunting and becoming a dad to put on several great performances and inspire probably too many old people around the world to think that they can still go back and play sports at the highest level. So you got to be in the mix there with the other 2 for sure.
I hope so.
All right, let's make it our goal for this as best as we can to not pick the same people for each of these. So you went first on that.
Okay.
Yeah. So coach of the year. I see this as a 2-man race.
I know exactly who you're going to say, and I know who I'm saying, obviously. But
I think I'm going to start with this. I don't think it's tyranny. So the Waterdogs win and all that, but like they have so much talent.
He's not even on my radar.
Yeah, they have so much talent. So take that out. I think it's between Brian Holman and Chris Bates. I think both of those 2 guys you can make a really good argument for. They had very similar stories this year where they kind of start the season shitty and then they find the right mix and they get going. So look, we both probably want to pick the same one here, but like I think I give the edge to Holman a little bit. I think what Bates has done is unbelievable, but he's done it with a little bit more of a known commodity with that roster, where Holman just completely reinvents his team, makes all the tough calls, and they're the hottest team in the league, outside the Waterdogs, I guess. Going into the playoffs, they beat the Archers. So I think he edges it out, and near and dear to both of our hearts for sure. I think we got to, maybe this is what I will allow you to agree with me on, but I think he's the guy for that award for me.
I was gonna say Holman. I thought 100% you were gonna say Bates because you're Archer's guy. But I think the argument for Bates is like we were very critical of them. The picking up no Tom Schreiber, no Grant Ament. Like they were looking like, okay, first pick of the draft, we said Aiden McGuire. They got to go offense because they don't have any offense. They lost their 2 best guys. So I think, when we saw that and then the D Mitty thing, the first 4 weeks, it did not look good. And then whatever they did as a coaching staff, like obviously they motivated those guys and figured it out. Like, yeah, that's the argument for him. And they've turned into pretty much the best team in the league outside the Waterdogs. Like that defense, Tony Resch, like tip your caps to them. So I would say that's the reason I would give that to Bates. But yeah, Brian Holman, you've already stated it. I'm not going to say it, but I think those are the two candidates. Yeah,
stud. I am an Archers guy, and I love Bates, but I am a Brian Holman guy.
I mean, Brian Holman, ever since he has the job, just wait for that face-off guy to show up, and he finally showed up.
I mean, that's the story of every lacrosse coach in America. Basically, every season, right around May, depends what part of the country you're in. The lacrosse seasons all over America end, and 99% of lacrosse coaches are sitting there saying, "If I just had a fucking face-off guy, we would have fucking won." Like, that is literally the conversation going on in fucking local bars all over the country.
Dude, I would love. We gotta have Raggity's on, but like, I would love to know college recruiting, right? Because it's a big fucking piece of your team. Like, what are they paying these guys? Like, so say there's like, you have the top 5 face-off academy has, the 5 top face-off guys in the country. Like, what Maryland calls you like, hey, we want Joe Smith. Like, he's the best face-off guy in the country. UVA has him. I think there's got to be a bargaining. I mean, I think every player can have that bargaining right, but is face-off like, do they have more say? Because, I mean, they just get the ball. So it's like, are they more valuable than an attackman?
I don't want to talk about this. Let's keep it moving. All right. We're about to talk about, if you look at the next 2 things, we're about to continue talking about the face-off a lot. So the next award is Rookie of the Year, and you're up and go first. So who's the Rookie of the Year?
There's been a shitload of talk, especially on the broadcast, and his name, hasn't even been fucking mentioned, but like Joey Spallina, Chad Palumbo, like those are the 2 names that you've heard a ton. They've kind of fell off because, Palumbo has slipped to the bottom 6. Spallina, same thing, has slipped. He's in the top as a rookie, but like, for me, it's McMeekin. Like, McMeekin wins the Rookie of the Year award. I don't know how you don't give it to him. Ever since he stepped foot in the Cannons locker room, they've won every single game. I think they might have lost 1 with him there. He's winning 62.5%. He is, not only does he win the ball, he literally throws ropes. There's no bad pass. He hits Marcus Holman right in his ear, shoots the ball. Like, he makes plays, picks up big ground balls. He has stick skills. He can score. And it seems like every game that the Cannons are down 1, down 2, down 3, he just scores a 2-pointer. He scores a goal, gets them within 1, wins the next one, gives it to Marcus. Like, for me, it's McMeekin. I think it's 100% him. I don't think anyone else can win it. And you can agree with me on that if you want.
I think this goes back to the point on Brian Holman as Coach of the Year. If you're not going to give it to McMeekin, and I am going to make a different pick, but I want to make this point first, you could give it to the entire Cannons rookie class. Like, Ranieri, Weishire, I think, is like second or first in points for rookies. Like, he's quietly like really gotten better and better as the season's gone on. Like, it has been quiet because Holman and Mackesy, like, there's been other guys that have been, and Brian Kelly, that have been flashier on that team, but Weishire has been putting up points every week. So you've got McMeekin, Weishire, and then the other one, steal of the draft on defense, is Will Donovan. Like, he to me could be a finalist for D Player of the Year. I mean, he's covered. He's basically covered since he's come in. He's basically covered the top guy on a defense that's like drastically improved.
Him getting cooked by Malone twice in the Chaos game.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. You mean in the
He's playing great. I think your point. He is one of the top guys. I think playing.
You're right. You're right. No. He had the whole advantage of like covering your college teammates. I really do think that's big advantage defense, like when you've seen guys so much. So he had really good games against the Kavanaughs. I just want to shout it out though, because they got him in the 3rd round. So like the rookie 100%. Class for the Cannons has been unbelievable. Great. McMeekin's the headliner. I don't disagree. I think the other guy, and I know like the popular pick, this is where you're going to get different. I love going at the Pelkey show because it's the most popular, probably views wise across podcasts, but like Joey Spallina is the Pelkey show MVP. That's going to be the guy that, or Rookie of the Year. Like, that's going to be the guy that, like, obviously he's the big name, and we love Joey, and he's been good. But the best rookie on offense has been Ryan Steins. And the Archers are the number 1 seed in the West, and Steins has been their top midfield player on that team. I mean, Trey LeClaire had like a 3-game stretch where he put up insane points, but Steins has been goals, assists every week, like initiator, ball in the stick. He's been unbelievable. So to me, he's the other guy. And again, I think you got a first place team that he's coming from. He's been the best rookie on a team that won their conference. You know, I think there's a real case to be made. I think your three finalists are Steins, McMeekin, and Spallina. And I think, you know, Steins or McMeekin are going to be the two front runners to win that award from my perspective. But what do I know? They'll probably give it to Spallina.
Yeah, I mean, Palumbo, right? I think he leads all midfielder rookies with 27 points, and the next guy below him, rookie-wise, is Weissire. He's got 7 more points than Weissire, and I think Weissire played 1 or 2 more games more than him because of the national
Where's
championship
Steins
stuff.
in that list?
Steins on that list he dropped off last 3 weeks. They might have him listed as an attackman though. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Yeah, he's listed as an attackman. He has 30 points.
What does that compare to Palumbo?
So 30 to 27. So
yeah, he's the leading points producer then for rookies, right?
Yeah. More
than Spallina, Hartsey?
No, Spallina has 36. But dude, like this is the other thing. Like the other thing that needs to go into account for lacrosse, it is you score a lot more at attack. Like
yeah, of course. That's my point. Like, so like what he's done on that team to be as a rookie to be the number 1 midi, he's getting the pole. Like at attack, you get free points. You throw to wide open guys, you get transition opportunities. Like it's harder.
So he has 6. Spallina has 6 more points than him, so 36 to his 30. But like, dude, he was an attackman all at University of Utah, and they like, hey, go play midfield. He's like, okay. So that's the other thing you got to throw into account. Like he was just thrown to the wolves. Like you're playing midfield. We don't have Tom Schreiber. We don't have Random. Like
yeah, that's my point. The role he's played on that team, like he filled a gap that they needed. He filled a Grand Amen sized gap basically, and they won a conference. So I think I'd put it McMeekin 1. I'd do it McMeekin 1, Steins 2, but I wouldn't be mad if Steins won it. And the reason
McMeekin's not going to win Rookie of the Year because he's going to win the next award.
Yeah, but you could make the case he should win both. I mean, if you win the next award, he
should win both. But when has that ever happened? When has the attackman of the year?
I mean, Trevor Baptiste won MVP and face-off specialist of the year.
Oh, that's right.
You know, so
I don't think they're going to do that though. There's no shot.
Interesting. I think that I actually do think they will. But so look, this is going to be the least interesting one. So McMeekin clearly needs to win face-off specialist of the year. I don't think it's even close, right? I think
we can just move along.
Yeah, Sisselberger, congrats on a good season. TD is Mr. Consistent, but like McMeekin was, I mean, he was the guy at that position this season, which is crazy, man, because it's been a decade of Trevor Baptiste. Maybe not a decade, but it's been like 7 years of kind of the 3, Trevor Baptiste, Joe Nardella, and TD Erlin, and nobody else could touch them.
He was injured all year too, like, which was horrible.
Yeah, no, and for sure there's reasons for that, Trevor, but like to finally see somebody else, like Connor Farrell kind of had a moment in there, but like to finally see somebody else break through and like
what happened to him? He was like winning like a 60% clip, and then they just got did he get hurt? I didn't hear anything on that one.
I don't know, bro. But McMeekin, stud. Congrats on a great season. Like that was awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So now the Joe Keegan Award for Short Stick D-Midi of the Year. Which of your 15 finalists would you do? So this one's me, right? Because you had to pick me. Well, neither of us picked it, but I'll go first. You did Rookie of the Year first. Short Stick D-Midi of the Year. I'm going to just say it. I think you could make. I said it at the beginning of the show. I think the Archers should sweep these awards on defense. I'm gonna backpedal. I think Ryan Tarafinko's the guy. I think the problem that you have with the Archers. So Bo Pedersen's probably the one that's popped the most for the Archers this season. I think he's your best on-ball cover guy that they have right now. He's dangerous offensively. Guy's an absolute animal covering the ball. Like Bo Pedersen could win this award easily, but I just think we talked about it, like the ground ball, the transition. Tarafinko even this weekend had 3 points. Like to me, he does the most. He's carried a team that has been beat up kind of all season long, plays at an incredibly high level. Like so, I'm slight edge to Tarafinko over Pedersen for that award.
Yeah, I think none of the Archers guys are even in the not even top 6 category wise.
They're not stats guys though, dude. They're like Lavelle, bro. That Archer's defense are not stats
but I'm
guys.
telling you, but I'm just saying this award is gonna be won from statistics. I think other awards you can make arguments, but Zach Currier, 68 ground balls. Like, I mean,
Yep.
I just think he's my.
And he has played primarily D-Mitty this year, right?
And he looks better on the defensive end. I don't know if he's like, from years previous, he always was like doing that one-handed check he always does.
Yep.
I tend to lean, dude, and then he has 9 college turnovers, and the other guy I think is neck and neck with him is Brian Tevlin. Brian Tevlin has 9 college turnovers, 25 GBs, 13 points. I think they're my top 2 picks. I would probably give the slight edge to Currier just because, dude, he's literally Brody Merrill with a short stick in his prime. Like, it's just, he doesn't lose. Yep. He never loses a 50-50 ground ball. It just doesn't happen. There's 2 guys on him. He wins the fucking ground ball battle, in my opinion, every single time. Like,
that's fair. If you
could live bet Waterdogs face-offs and like loose ball scrums, like the face-off guy doesn't get as a loose ball scrum, I'd put all my money on him every time he hit the ground ball. Like, he's that. I
agree.
And those plays are huge, man. So I'm going.
They're huge.
Currier 1. He's my guy. Tevlin right behind him.
That's a good pick. I mean, it is. He's what could hurt him is like not being seen as a true.
Yeah. He doesn't come off the field. He doesn't come off the field.
My nostalgia for a minute, but I always felt sometimes because of the amount of offense I played, I'd get talked about like not in the same way that like a defensive.
Yeah.
I'm serious about this.
No, 100%.
When you score a lot of goals as an LSM, I feel like a lot of times the narrative is like weaker on defense. He's more of an offensive guy. I feel like Currier will get that same narrative to some extent when like you're not wrong. Like the reality of his on-ball defense this year has been really, really good. So I like that pick a lot. I hope for his sake people see it that way and like truly look at him as a D-Mitty, not as a transition guy or something.
Yeah, 68 GBs not as a face-off guy is wild.
It would be funny for face-off specialist of the year is like, what was the game this season when was it the Chaos who lost on purpose and then like won the game? It was the Chaos. Whoever took the face-offs for the Chaos against the Redwoods and went 0 for 24 and then Chaos won. Was that against the Red? It wasn't against the Redwoods. It was.
They didn't dress a face-off. They didn't dress a face-off guy.
I know. But I'm just saying, like that was the face-off guy of the year because he perfectly executed the strategy. He lost all the face-offs. So that was exactly what they wanted to do. Give it to that guy. It was like Charlie Hayes or something like that. I think was the one who was taking them all that game.
We're dressing you, but you need to lose every single.
Give the face-off specialist of the year to guy who went 0%, but executed
his job perfectly.
Nobody did his job better than that guy all season.
Do your job award. You know that'd be an interesting, like, you go into the fucking playoffs, man, and you just say, hey, we're just gonna lose every fucking face off and just see what happens here.
I mean, the guy we're not talking about this anymore. All right. The short stick D-Mitty position is loaded. So Courier's a good pick. The Tarafinko is unbelievable. Pedersen's been unbelievable. Who is the other guy you met? Oh, Brian Tevlin is unbelievable. Like great. All 4 of those guys I wouldn't have a qualm with any of them winning it. I think the Redwoods haven't, as a team, not had the same year, so I think it'll be harder for Tevlin. You could say the same about the Outlaws, though. So you might be right. It could be Currier or Pedersen that are the top 2 in that. That's going to be an interesting one to watch. So
yeah,
all right,
for sure.
You get to go first on this one. I think just saying that about the short stick D-Mitty position, we've talked about this, but like the LSM position is not, and I don't know, dude. Like maybe it's the Earhart. We're spoiled. It was like Brody and then Earhart, and then like the second tier LSMs were you and me and Joel White, and I mean it's just kind of like it just seemed like there were guys who were like borderline MVP candidates. I mean certainly Earhart, right, for a lot of years at this position, and like we just don't really have like the clear game changing guy, but we do have some really good ones. So who do you see as the front runner there?
This award, obviously, I think, you don't have to play great defense, in my opinion, for this award. If you're, GBs, scoring goals, college turnovers, you hit in those 3 categories, I think you're the guy that's going to win it. I don't see how they don't give Jake Piscino this award, right? He's got 38 GBs, 10 points. He's the only LSM. The next LSM closest to him with that has 5 points is Jared Connors. But man, for me, I think it's Piscino. The plays he makes in between the field, like, picking up GBs or, over the head check, whatever the hell it is, throws it in front of him, transition the other way. Obviously, I think having Tarafanko, on that team does help him. Geddes on that team helps him. But, like, man, the Outlaws are probably one of the best teams, if not the best team in transition. It's because of him, I think. So, and I wouldn't say, like, he's the best. I don't think he has, like, lightning quick speed. I would say he's probably, I think Ethan Rawl is probably the best on-ball LSM in this league via not getting beat. But Pacino, for me, what he does in between the lines and does cause turnovers, he's leading the league with 15. He's my guy up top.
I'll tell you what, buddy, we're in lockstep here. I see that breakdown the exact same way you do. Those two are my two favorite, without a doubt. I give the edge defensively slightly to Raw, but I also don't want to do to Pacino what I just said I felt like happened to me, and like where it's like because when you think of him, the first thing you think about is transition offense, where we discount his defense. Like, remember what he did in the World Games? He covered top attackmen, stripping the ball from Pinell. Like, the guy can play freaking defense. So like, I just think when your job is to dominate the middle of the field, yes, sometimes you don't do the same things on defense that a guy who doesn't have to run up and down the field 15 times does. But there's a reason for that. It's a different position. But I still think he wins his matchups. Like, I don't think he's the furthest thing from a liability down there. Yeah. And he has that ability. So he
picks passes off, he makes those plays.
We had a little side text, right, where Holman was all fired up about this. Marcus Holman, that is. I'll put him on the spot. Just sticking up for his teammate, but just like Raw deserves the award. Like, felt very strongly about it, which shows you what that locker room thinks of him. But like, I don't agree. I think he's really good. Yeah. I think he's really good, but like he is, I think Pacino is the best at that position, and again, statistically is the best at that position right now. So it's just hard. It becomes hard to argue with that. But I agree completely with what you said. Rawl is like glue on people's gloves.
Yeah. He's the best. He's the best. Like, if you were going to give the award to the best guy who plays the best on one-on-one defense, it's him. But like, he does have 43 GBs, but when you go down the category list, he has 1 point. Like, I think in this league, to win that award, you can't have 1 point. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's just exactly. It's just one dimension of his game that's not there, where I feel like, so if he's got 2 out of 3 tools, the ground ball play and the defense, but doesn't really have the offensive ability, I think Pacino's a 3-tool guy.
Do you know what? Marcus saying that, in the games, I see Marcus, yelling at him a lot when he shoots the ball. Like, stop listening to Marcus. Ethan, shoot the ball some more. Don't listen to the fucking number one. Just score some more goals, and then you'll win the award.
Yeah, get a little crow hop and let it fly. He came to Hawaii, dude. So, like, on a side note on that, normally, because we've talked about Wimmer Hawaii Lacrosse Tournament quite a bit on this podcast, but, I've generally, you and I are both on that team, so I generally don't recruit tons of LSMs because you and I want to run around and play offense and play LSM. Well, you were out last year with selfishly having a baby. And so we invited Rawl, and I will say, like, it was, I've been out of the league for a little bit. I've you're like, how good is this guy really? You got my own ego still kind of in there. Like, oh, fuck, I could still do this the way he is nice with it off the ground. And like, seeing him in person, man, like he had some ground balls where he was flipping his wrists and turning it over. And, he was covering Knobloch, was out there playing for other teams, and he was just completely owning that matchup. Like, it was really impressive to see him in person. So he deserves his flowers. Probably runner up for my book. I think Connors will probably
had a great year for having a great
finalist. But I do think Pacino is probably gonna. I think he's gonna take that award, and I think he might own it for the next 5 years. Like, I just don't see anybody.
The only way you win that award is if you were tied with him. And if like Rawl had 10 points, Rawl wins the award.
I agree, but I also think, like, if Mason Woodward played LSM full time, he might be good enough at that position.
I think you're going to see him go up top next year when they get what's the fucking defense? Schaller, Lavelle, and that giant ad Dunham they have down there. They got that's absurd.
All right, so we'll keep moving. Goalie of the year is going to be Brett Dobson. Do you even want to mention anybody else?
Like, I want to disagree with you, but I can't.
You can't, dude. Shout out to Sean Byrne. We've talked about Sean Byrne, my guy on the Waterdogs. Cool.
JC Higginbotham, Cannons.
Yeah, but like, those aren't real candidates for this. Those are late subs that are playing great that could maybe go win a championship. But like, Brett Dobson's the goalie of the year. I don't think it's even close this year with him. Like, he'll win that in a runaway. All right, defender of the year. Who you got?
Yeah, I think, how the fuck is Rexford number 3 on this list in stats? Not that I'm looking at that, but the man, from the way he covered this player, Kirst, I think, we talked about him as Lavelle. I think on the Archers, I think he wins this award. He should win the award. Now, for this position, right, I don't think, your stats obviously should go into play with this, but like, I would look at one-on-one covers. Like if he's guarding Kirst and he held him to a point, and I don't know what he did the second time. It was something good as well. He in my mind
he did well on O'Neal.
Yeah, he takes his matchup out of the game. He's good off ball communicator. Like I think he's the guy for me for sure.
And I actually think, because we had talked about like maybe Ajax being in the mix. I think he's run away with this. The only guy that challenges him is Makar. And dude, this league, it wouldn't shock me if Makar, somehow Makar might win it, because he has just been, he's been so statistically good, and he's also been eye test good. Although I do think he gets beat one-on-one significantly more than Lavelle. I don't think he's as strong or anywhere close to as strong, frankly, in that position, like that regard. But he does
so 9 points too. It's crazy.
So well. But I just don't like the Archers defense this season was all time good. You can't have that defense when with Hasek gone and not give the award to the number one cover guy on that defense. And give it to the guy on the worst defense in the league. And I just don't think there's any other challengers really for this award out there right now. So I think Lavelle wins it, and Lavelle should win it. And if it doesn't go to him, it should go to Makar. That's the only way I don't get really upset about it. And that just doesn't feel right. It's a team game. Part of being a great defender is leading a great team defense. And unfortunately, to no fault of his, but the Alice defense was trash. So I just, we've covered it. All right. This one's interesting. Midfielder of the year. I feel like this is it a wide open one? Is it my pick first?
I'll give you this pick. I'll give you this pick first, just because the goalie was just. We didn't know we just did defender.
Look,
I went first. Yeah, you too.
And I had cheated and took the same guy, but there's certain awards where it's hard. But look, I think this is an interesting one. I think this is more wide open. But for me, I still think Aiden Carroll probably did enough to win this award this year. I just think if I'm going into the playoffs, he's the midi I kind of least want to see. And I think there's a lot of honorable mention candidates. And the guy I mentioned before is runner up from my perspective. But I think Aiden Carroll's been consistently the best start to finish at that position this season.
Yeah, and I think this award too, Sam King is second in points, but
he's been playing attack.
He's been playing attack, so he shouldn't be even be in the conversation. The other guy that I think could have won this award if you'd have played the same amount of games as Aiden Carroll was Trey Leclerc came out on fire.
I know. He
had 16. Yeah. I think he had 16 points in 2 games.
He had a 3-game stretch that was absurd.
Yeah, he'd be my only other argument, but I don't think no one's beaten Aiden Carroll. I think he had such a good year this year. When
I think you have Trey Leclerc and Ryan Steins, is probably a better two-person combo than Carroll and Patra.
He did a great job this year, yeah.
But I do think Carroll's just been I think he's the most feared midfielder in the league this season, and he's played well down the stretch. And dude, the Whipsnakes, I'm just telling you, I think the Cannons are going to win that game. I think the Cannons are the better team. But just if you look, I was doing some stat looking, their score differential and statistics are not that different than Boston's, and their record is, they're 2 full games. Because it's just they've lost so many 1-goal games. And if they're 7-5, not 5-7, they pull out, and a lot of those were games that they really honestly should have won in a lot of ways. So I just the Whipsnakes are not to be it's not, the Cannons need to come ready to play, and I think they will, and I think they've been better, and they have more belief, and they have just whatever it is, and they have Mick Meekin. We'll talk about this next week, but I just want to say the Whipsnakes season was close to being a pretty big success, and he's been the most consistent best player on that team for me this season. So I think he deserves his flowers, and he deserves to win midfielder of the year. All right, so the next 2 awards are usually the same person. Let's just call it what it is. That's typically how this goes, is your attackman of the year is also your MVP. For the sake of argument, let's not give it to the same person.
Okay.
The same person's going to win it because it's Kirst and Sowers and maybe you want to throw Holman in there, right? I mean, is there anybody else that's part? And maybe Dobson is your other MVP finalist, probably.
I don't. So this award, man, I do not think. See, this is tough for two reasons. One, I think there's been too much conversation about. Obviously, he deserves it, but like CJ Kirst is going to, MVP, and then Sowers has 51 points. Marcus has 41. I think if Sowers were to win MVP, I think Marcus, for me, he's the attackman of the year.
Yeah, so I was going to say the same thing. Marcus attackman of the year, Sowers MVP.
It's going to be one of those three. It's literally cut it off right there. No one else below that's winning it. It's either Sowers, if or Kirst, and then if the award, in my opinion,
Dobson could be a finalist for MVP. That wouldn't shock me if he was.
Dobson?
Yeah, Brett Dobson.
Brett Dobson? No, there's
MMA.
no fucking way. There's no fucking way.
MMA fighter Brett Dobson.
No,
no way.
He ain't winning that award. No, fuck no.
We have seen goalies win it.
We have seen goalies win it, but I don't think he's having.
They would have needed to not lose that game to Boston. Like he just didn't down the stretch. They didn't do enough. There was a point in the season where he was like right there.
But dude, he's like, I mean, his top 6 goalies it's Carroll, Ward, Reardon, Ensign. Or no, what is that? What am I? Is that's got to be wrong. 60%. That's, I don't know what the hell. I don't know why they have him at
Did he drop below them statistically? I'm not even looking at the stats. I'm a vibes guy.
Shots against.
Whatever.
Saves. He has less saves, but you know why he has less saves? You know why he has less saves? Because of the fucking defense in front of him. That's why. I don't think he went. There's no shot he wins MVP. No chance. So, go ahead. I'll let you continue with the attackman of the year, because MVP is the last one. I can't hear you again. Your mic cut out.
Thanks. Sorry.
There you go.
It's crazy to think that Kirst sets the goals record, and I just don't like. And he's been electric, and he's been so good, but I just don't see how. Like, I just think Sowers has to win these. I think Sowers is going to win attackman of the year and MVP. Like, realistically, and especially if you watch, I mean, Sowers is the creator. Like, so how many of Kirst's goals come off of Sowers creating those goals? He can still score himself. I think he's right now the slightly more consistent this season of those two, right? Kirst had some explosive games and a little run, but Sowers just steady 3-3 every week, all season long. Marcus deserves a ton of credit for what he's done as a leader and making big time plays. But I think that award goes to Sowers for me, both of them. And I think if you were going to give attackman of the year to somebody else, I would give it to Marcus. But I could see a world where they give like Kirst attackman of the year and Sowers MVP or something like that to give them both their flowers. And I think it's hard the Cannons, again, we love them. Hopefully I've given Marcus enough praise this season to last our friendship a lifetime. But the reality is, like,
bro, he got 6 2-pointers.
The Waterdogs are 2 games better than the second place team in the league. Like, it's hard to argue with. What are they, 9-3, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Cannons and the Archers are 7-5 as the next 2 best records. Like,
I just think
it's hard.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but I just think I don't know. It's like you look at what Marcus has done the last 3 weeks and the plays he's made. It's like, obviously it's the whole season, but
I'll tell you what he should get. He should get the leadership award, whatever that is. I think it's the Jimmy Regan leadership award. Give him the leadership award, the teammate award. Give him the GOAT award. Like, him and Rob can get that. Like, he deserves it. I mean,
he didn't drink last year. He's back on the sauce. It's like, what are you doing?
You called it at the beginning of the season. You were like, hey, he's getting a couple glasses of that fine wine in him. Look, it loosens you up a little bit. You grip the stick a little less tight. You're playing more free. He's a dad now. You got that family perspective on life. Like, there's lots of things that factored into that. So, like, yeah, my heart wants him to win MVP or attackman of the year, but my head says, like, Sowers is probably going to get that award. I hope Marcus comes away with attackman of the year. And then I hope they give him every other award. Every award that's not like a position player of the year. I think it's like leadership, teammate, humanitarian. Like, just give them all. Give them all to Marcus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know, man.
It's
the next
biased,
award,
but I mean it. I feel it.
yeah.
That's all of them, right?
No, we got MVP.
That's all the awards.
We say it.
Well,
We talked
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Sowers. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Sowers, my MVP. Hartzell, Sowers, Holman.
Yep.
Your MVPs. For the
I mean, I should be defenseman of the year. I mean, I held my guy pretty much scoreless.
Pretty much, or what does that mean?
He had one assist.
Yeah, okay.
He had one goal. It wasn't on me. I got picked off and
That's the classic defenseman. It wasn't on me. Well, yeah, that's how Adler won that award. Is he just like never let anybody touch the ball, and then you can hold people scoreless all game. Don't have to. Regardless if you ever slid to anybody ever participated in things like that. Well, my guy didn't do a shit. All right, man. Well, this was felt like a decent episode for the down week. Next week will be fun. So we usually don't preview games, but obviously it's playoff time. So like we'll do our homework, go in depth. We'll talk about each of these quarterfinal games, what we're watching, what the best matchups are, who we think's going to win, all that fun stuff. So should be a juicy episode next week. And that's all I got. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace.
Shout out to our producer Mills working West Coast hours from the East Coast, staying up late. So
yeah, shout out Scott moving all the way on the West Coast and making me stay up later, an hour later, 2 hours later. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it.
Aloha. Peace.